this corner, I guess. But I want it to look a little more good than before. All right, and we can add the anvil in here and the smithing table, I guess. And then I went around adding a bunch of stairs to these pillars to make them look a bit more detailed. And I think it looks a lot better, actually. I then realized we needed a better way to get up to the second floor, so I decided to add in the staircase in the corner over here. I also dug out a bit of an area over here where I'm gonna put a sugarcane farm later on, and then added some more decorations to the enchantment area, like this chiseled bookshelf, this pillar in the corner, and these slabs. Which I don't really know what they're supposed to be, but they look cool, I think. All right, and conceptually adjacent to this, I want to add in a brewing area. So I mined out a bit of an area and added in these pillars and barrels, and I guess I'll just add the brewing stuff in later. All right, and as stupid as it is, even though I'm in full netherite armor, I'm still somehow completely broke. I have like no iron. So I headed into this cave to kindly greet and promptly evict all of our next door neighbors and steal all their natural resources. And a few months of cave diving later, and I had gotten a decent amount of iron. So I added some more hoppers into our super smelter, and then began adding a bunch of pillars into the walls of the second floor. Then I added these beams connecting the pillars to the second floor. Well, actually, I guess I just added one and then flew back to the base to get all the resources to build the sugarcane farm with, and then began excavating an area for the sugarcane farm. Once I had that dug out, I began building this sugarcane farm completely of my own design. I definitely did not look at the tutorial. I'm just this smart. Yeah. Oh, also, I guess I didn't have any sugarcane, so I flew out and grabbed some from this river nearby or whatever. Once I was done with the farm, I closed the whole thing off with glass and stone bricks. I wanted to add another horizontal spruce beam here, but I was out of spruce wood, so I went back to chopping down 4x4 spruce trees. Yeah, that's right, not 2x2, 4x4 spruce trees. It's a new thing they added in the 1.59 update. Anyways, once I had amassed a sufficient amount of spruce wealth, I headed back underground and began adding in all these spruce beams connecting these pillars. I also added in a bunch of stairs to look like supports for these beams, and I actually think it looks a lot better. All right, next I want to add an aquarium on the opposite side of this sugarcane farm. But when I began digging out an area, I ran into the exit stairway. And I also wanted to add in a nether section with a nether portal and stuff, so I decided to just close up this stairway and make the mine entrance and stairway be on the same side. So I got to work on that, and once I was done, I flew back to grab a bunch of nether blocks, and then got to work on the nether section. I started by adding in the portal frame, and then began replacing the floor and walls with netherrack, but it looked a little too samey, so I added in some soul soil on one side and some magma blocks on the other side. I also finally lit the portal, and I was thinking about adding in some fire, but I didn't really want it to burn down the entire base, so I decided against it and built a little safe shelter on the nether side. All right, and the next